Yes, that's correct.
He was just sharing a sale that he had online. Was it just last night?
Just last night it finished.
Yeah. John's made and his crew have made some trips over to Paris, Illinois, where they're working with an individual who has already made a move into Westminster Village. And now they're ready to, to take care of the things that are left behind in the home, which is a great way, I think, to handle it. Would you agree that kind of get moved first and then open up to the auction option?
That's the way I like to do it. I mean, we're flexible. We can do it lots of different ways, but my favorite way to do it is to get people moved and settled and make sure they have everything they need and make sure there's nothing they, are going to get in their new home and then not like it and want to get it back. So
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
seems to work a lot better that way. And then there's no question of what we're selling or keeping and things like that once we get started.
Makes a lot of sense. So tell us, John, how did you get started in this business?
Well, I've been a nurse for almost 28 years, and one of my hobbies was buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and um, especially Terre Haute items. I kind of have a fondness to collect Terre Haute things, like things from the brewing company and the Coke things from the brewing or from the local, root bottling company. I like collecting those things. So when I started looking for a change and something different, my first thought was home health care things, but I think there's about 15 of them in town. So, and plus one of them's my sister-in-law. So I didn't want to, do something that everybody else is doing. But
Yep.
while I was looking at those options, I seen caring transitions, and I thought that was perfect because it has the caring part, like I learned in nursing and learned at working at the hospital for so many years, that customer service part, and then it also has that interesting and buying and selling and helping people get rid of their stuff that was a hobby that I get to do. It was kind of a perfect fit.
So Karen Transitions then is kind of a franchise type company. Was that how you would explain it?
Yes, Caring Transitions is a franchise. There's about 280 of them across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I chose Terre Haute because my family's here, and um, I'd been working in Indianapolis for a while, and I didn't want to have a lot of windshield time and commuting. So Terre Haute really lacked that service. So that was another reason I chose to do this. There's just no one else really close by that does the same thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. And it's critical to our industry to have a partner like Karen Transitions and like you, John, that we can count on to refer our prospective residents to, and all those depositors and people who said yes, I'm making the decision to move, and now what? Because so many times their family is not here to help with the daily process of going through a drawer, in the closet, and then the rest of the room, and so that's kind of where you all come into play. Is that right?
Yes, it's not only is it a lot of work, but um, it's hard to do. I mean, an average family, it takes about a year to go through someone's things and get it
Mhm.
separated and figure out what to do with it. So, and I do work with a lot of long distance families and help them find things they're looking for. And if we find personal items, we make sure we save it and put it aside for them. Another thing with those long distance families, we can ship things to them, and, certain mementos or um, keepsakes from their family that they want. We make sure we get it to them.
Sure. So tell us about the basis of the auction part of the business, and then we can get into a little bit more about what's selling and what's not. But let's explain, I guess, to me. I mean, I think most of us are familiar with a live and in-person auction. Maybe
Right.
an estate sale or having somebody coming through your home and selling things, or maybe going to an auction site or location. But tell us about the online auction and how does this
Okay.
work? I've got your web page up, at least the main page.
hmm Well, I tell you, the pandemic certainly helped online businesses, I think. and it helped
Mhm.
mine too. Um, and the online auctions have been booming lately. Um, and maybe a little bit of the stimulus checks are helping too. I'm not sure, but um, the way we do the online auctions is we go in and we'll set up a little photograph right in someone's home, and a little photograph studio, and we take pictures of their things. We put it into, we kind of, and I like to say we do it tastefully, and um, put a background up and take pictures of their belongings, and then we put it into our online auction. People bid on it for, I like to do it for 6 to 10 days. And then at the end of the bidding, the winner gets an invoice with instructions on how to pick their item up. And we have them set an appointment. They come by at their appointment. We have their stuff ready for them, and we pass it off. And um, then that kind of completes for the buyer, that completes their part of it. And then we also ship things all over the country. Um, we have buyers in Hawaii. Um, I guess they can't get a lot of things down there, so we ship a lot of stuff to Hawaii.
Wow.
I kind of like to think of we were doing a curbside service before the pandemic, so it just kind of was an easy way to get in there.
Tell me about this page. This is an actual item, right?
That's actually where they bid.
Mhm.
That's the buyer. They click that little bid now button, and they're able to put their bid in, and it's works kind of like eBay. So if they wanted to bid, if they wanted to give $20 for that lot, they could put $20 in, and then if no one else bids, then they could get it for $1 potentially. Especially since it's just plain pressed glass, and that's not a big seller right now.
Yeah, there's nothing like valuable antique in that collection, is there?
That's okay.
I suppose, I mean, I would imagine that the owner could set a minimum price for things, or is that?
Reserve.
We do that. I don't like setting reserves because I think it kind of, when the buyers see a reserve, that kind of turns them off a little bit. They don't want to start bidding. So we like to start things at $1, and then it kind of generates interest and gets people bidding. And if there's a need for it or a want for it, yeah, that will go up to a good fair market value. And if you put a reserve on it, sometimes they tend to pass by it.
Makes sense. So folks, instead of having to show up at a piece of property or at an auction house and having a limited amount of time to like look through and place bids on things, or having to stay for a live auction, they can get onto your website when you've got a live auction. You said how many days does it stay up?
6 to 10 days.
Okay. So they have that. So I mean, any buyer, I guess, has that period of time then to peruse all the items,
Right.
like bid, come back, maybe rebid if they need to. And is that right?
Right. If they're home on quarantine or a snow day, they can set and bid all they want, or put their high bid in early, and then they don't have to worry about it again until it's over with, until they get their invoice. So it's not affected by weather or things like that. So that's another reason I like the online.
I think the fact that you're out, like you said, to the whole United States, it just gives you that much more opportunity to make more money on your items too.
For sure. I mean, people in California and over on the East Coast are driving the prices up.
Super.
Is there any way you can enlarge it a little bit? Eileen said that she can't really see it this well.
This picture I can't make bigger, but I can certainly make sure that Eileen gets a link to be able to look at the site herself. Because now that I've got it kind of set in this PowerPoint, I can't make it any bigger. But yes, so I pulled this one up because you had a sale already that I think closed out. So there wasn't a lot of items up on your site at this time until you get another batch of items in. Is that right?
Right. Right now, as we speak, there's a team putting up items right now. So
Oh,
they'll
cool.
start flipping on there throughout the day. So
Okay.
just starting a brand new auction.
And if do you tend to put multiple folks' items on one auction, or does every client have a separate auction?
It depends. If I can get to about 100 lots, then I can do a separate auction. But if I have several small lots, then I can put several different clients together, and it makes for a good sale that way, more variety.
Mm-hmm. And now I want to ask, of course, the questions about what sells and what doesn't sell. What are people looking for?
Well, right now, silver plate is just, people really aren't interested in it. Younger people are buying it and actually painting it and using it for decorations. I mean, people used to use it to entertain, and it was kind of could be a showcase in their house, having all their silver out for people to see. But right now, it's almost hard to give away. Clear glass, just plain glasses, don't sell really well. But if it has any kind of name on it, like Waterford or Baccarat or something like that, then those are selling really good. Just plain dish sets and plain cookware that's been used doesn't sell really well. Any kind of like linen that's been used doesn't sell real well. We usually end up donating most linen and things like that. Any type of, I said silver plate, but if it's real silver, it's selling really well right now. So any sterling pieces or things like that, they sell real well. Any type of collectibles, even like you hear like longer burger baskets, they used to sell for a lot, but they still are selling. They're still buying them. So longer burgers and Hummels and things like that do okay. Old electronics sell really well. There's a big market for that. And sometimes things that I don't think sell well will sell well are the ones that do. So I always tell people, don't start throwing away things, and don't start giving away or donating things until I come look at it and see what they got and on the first consult, and then go from there. I've plucked some pretty good things out of people's trash before and put it up on their auction and sold it for them. So you just never know.
That's great. When you walk by there, back and think, wait a minute.
Well, the client's trash, not other people's trash. I was telling there was another auction place in town, and I was telling them I do that, and they said, don't sell it for them. If they throw in the trash, that means it's yours, so you can keep it. But I sell it for the client, add it to their sale. I think it's kind of a neat surprise when we sell something they were for sure going to throw away.
Oh my goodness, definitely. So I could see, like, in my mind, the process should, and correct me if I'm wrong, should be, I mean, first you got to know where you're going, right? So that you know what you're going to keep.
Right. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things you don't need if you're downsizing and going to an apartment, which sometimes makes me jealous, like lawnmowers and all their garden equipment and things like that. And then with the moving into a smaller space, you don't want to overcrowd it so that you can't, maneuver easily through your new apartment or new condominium. So,
so you recommend, like, first marking all the things you want to bring, fitting them into your floor plan, and then consulting, with you about all the rest of the stuff, right? And then
yes, a lot of times when I go in to do the space planning, it's just verifying what people already love and want to take with them, and verifying that it will fit and we can get it in there.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Is there anything that you've had up on the auction before that you just thought, you know, online, well, oh, that'll sell for sure, and it just doesn't, and then what do? You end up just donating?
Well, we can donate it, or I could sell it for them privately. There's lots of different options. If it's something super valuable and we just didn't get the price for it we wanted, then we can try to sell it in a different market or a different way. I'd say more often than not, it's something I don't think will sell well that just really goes crazy and sells well. And that's another thing about our auctions, that right at first we don't get a lot of bids, and then at the very end, I think people think if I wait till the very end and then get my bid in, but also everyone else is thinking that same thing. So the sale usually doubles at the end.
Are there any items that, so if folks are thinking, well, I want to start downsizing, but I'm not ready to, you know, to do an auction or sell things yet. What stuff should they truly just throw away? Doesn't want it, you know, collection sites don't want it, and auctions aren't going to want it.
Like stained, anything that's stained, like linen and things like that they don't need. I hate to say clothes because I like to look at some of the vintage clothes. We do sell like vintage jackets and vintage athletic things I like selling. A lady one time was getting ready to throw away bowling shirts from the 50s, and we ended up selling them for a really good price. So I hate to say clothes, but just plain clothes that aren't older, they don't need anymore and don't fit. It's good to go ahead and get those donated. Anything broken that they wouldn't want to use themselves that can't be repaired is probably a good item to go ahead and get rid of, unless it's super valuable and we can sell it for parts.
Can you think of what is the most bizarre item that you've sold online?
A couple weeks we sold a Gordon printing press that weighed about 900 pounds, and I didn't think it would sell that well because it was such a niche thing for people. I mean, this thing was huge, and it was probably from the 1860s, 1880s. So I was really leery about selling it for the guy because I was afraid I wouldn't get a good price for it. And he told me, well, I only paid $50 for it, so I don't care what it sells for. So we put it on there, and we ended up selling it for a good price. And I had people calling me, and they were angry because they didn't win it, and you know, they wanted it. If it goes back for sale, they wanted it. And of all people that bought it, it was a high school in Indianapolis bought it to use it as a stage prop, and then they were going to resell it when they were done with it. So that was pretty interesting.
Yes.
That is super interesting. I think that's a really great point that you made too in the beginning about because that was one question that I had in my mind. I was going to ask you about the pandemic and how that affected your business, and it makes sense when the government was saying no, you can't get groups of people together for live in-person auctions. I mean, you all were still doing it and still listing and selling.
Yep. We do also do on-site estate sales, and some people prefer that. So here in a few weeks, we had a lady that she unfortunately passed away, but she had they guesstimate around $50,000 of QVC clothing, so brand new. So I couldn't imagine how we could get that all online. I mean, it would fill up. It was just an unbelievable amount of clothes. So we're going to have a on-site estate sale here in the next few weeks. So we can do that too, if need be.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. If the situation fits it, it's nice to know that you can make that adjustment. And
yep.
Very good. Very cool. What else do you think is important for people to know about the auction portion of your business before we let folks ask their own questions
All
and
right.
open it up.
Well, a lot of people will, like you were talking about, putting reserves on an item. They'll get focused in on one item and they'll get worried that they won't get enough for one item. But when we put their whole sale together, they're usually always happy with the end result and the overall sale. So they kind of tend to forget about that one item that, you know, they paid a lot for and they don't want to let it go for less than they paid for it. But we still get overall get a good price for the entire estate. So, I mean, I guess that's something good to think about when they're wanting to hold on to a few items just because they're afraid they're never going to get their money out of it again. That they usually do improve the overall auction and the overall amount they're usually happy with.
That makes sense. Yeah. Just keep the focus on the big picture. I guess.
Right. Exactly. Thank you.
I think too, sometimes folks feel that their family and kids and grandkids are going to want a lot of their stuff. What's your experience with that?
I've seen a lot of people get really well, so-and-so is going to take this, so-and-so is going to take that. A lot of the younger people don't want they just don't want certain things. Like they don't entertain with China and they don't entertain with with all the silver plate and the neat things. I think it really breaks people's heart when the younger people don't want it, but it's just different now. So I'd recommend, going ahead and offering it to people and then maybe giving them a time limit. If they don't take it by this time, hey, we're just going to go ahead and put this in the sale, and because it's just hard.
I like that idea, John. That's really good advice, is putting kind of a time limit on it, because otherwise, that could kind of go on forever. Waiting around somebody to come pick it up. Look, I need it out by this time, or else it's going to go to auction. And that way, you can stay focused on your goal, focused on your timeline, and keep moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the pieces that maybe goes along, I think, with auction, and while I ask you this question, Rebecca, if you want to allow people to turn on their cameras, ask their, and engage and ask their own questions. Here we go. What about, I've sold my house, John, and you've done your auction and people have picked up things, and then there's just like some kind of trash and just all those random things that are left behind. Do you do that full service clean out as well, so that my buyer can move into the home?
We do, from start to finish. We donate, we clean out the leftovers, we go through and clean their house, we sweep, we patch nail holes where they had pictures at, really just make it. I've had realtors call me and thank me because they were getting ready to go over and clean a house themselves, and we've had it in such good shape they didn't have to do anything to it.
You must have quite a crew of folks to get all this done.
We do. We have, I think we're pushing about 10 employees now, so part-time employees, and all of them have their special talents, but I have some that love to clean and like polishing, and that just really makes my day.
I love it. So I know that, folks that are joining us today probably have their own questions, unique questions they want to ask, or if you have questions about unique and specific items, certainly that's okay. John's here to answer your questions. So
yes, and I have promoted everybody, so you are all able to turn on your cameras and turn on your microphones and join us and ask any questions or voice any concerns that you have.
How does he do the distance evaluations?
So I think that was Patricia, and she is in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think I called and left her a message last night, and that far away, probably try to find a sister Caring Transitions to help you, or and then once you get your things here, then we could unpack it and resettle you in your new apartment.
But you were talking about the auction. Do you do evaluations from it, like distance states like that?
Well, if there's a Caring Transitions franchise close to you, they could do it.
I see. But you would call them versus calling you?
Or I could get a hold of them for you.
I see. Okay. I'll have to look for the call because I didn't see it. Usually, I don't know, I hope I got you the right number,
Okay.
but I can, I see your emails on there. I saw J Morris at Caring Transitions, but I don't know what's after transitions.
.com.
.com. Okay. I can send you an email too.
Okay, and I'll call you when we're done.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Wonderful.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. John, what about fine jewelry? Does that sell at all?
I'm glad you asked. Jewelry is booming. It's almost where all I have to do is take pictures of it, and our cameras are actually able to focus in on the, like where it'll say 24 karat or 14 karat. We focus in on that and take really good pictures of it, and jewelry is selling really well.
Okay.
Gold, sterling, silver. It's like collectible money, coins. I practically don't even have to put a description on there. I just take a picture, put it on the auction, and people are bidding on it like crazy right now.
Okay. What about original art paintings and stuff like that?
It just would depend. If it warranted going to a specialized auction, then I might not take it on. But we just sold a Shapiro watercolor last night, and it actually did pretty good. We have a lot of people looking at our site, and a lot of artwork selling well.
Okay. What about
It
milk
just
glass?
depends. I would have to look at it. And
What about milk glass vases and things like that?
Milk glass is actually popular right now because people are using it for decorations. So we don't sell it for a whole lot, but we do sell it.
Okay. What about books like maybe first editions or books from long ago? I'm trying to think of some of the authors that reflect what people were reading at that time.
First editions would do great. Older books do great. The more information that we have on them, the better they do.
Okay. What about fabric items like from Turkey and Greece? Rugs, hanging things, are those needed by a special auction?
I would have to look at those.
Okay.
I haven't sold anything like that recently.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
What
And by
about,
the way, a couple of us know Elsa.
Oh, I'm Elsa's biggest fan, so.
Well, you're her biggest fan too.
Good.
what about 78 records?
Records are selling good now. Any vinyl.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I've got lots of vinyl of some, maybe played once, good classical.
Yep.
And I have one, I thought, wonderful 78. What about old sheet music with very interesting pictures?
Now, I haven't sold any sheet music. I had someone just ask me about that yesterday, and I told her I would research a little bit for her. So I'm not too sure about that.
How about marbles?
Oh yeah,
Interesting
marbles
marbles.
are great. Yep, we just marbles. I just kind of put them out and take a good picture of them, and the marble buyers take care of the rest. So,
How do you get on your website to look at your sales?
ctbids.com.
Say that again.
ctbids.com.
It really is super easy because it is a franchise organization. There's like one main website, but you can type in the zip code for Terre Haute in this little search box that they give you, very prominent in the top. And then it takes you, yes, right to John's then listings and the things that he's got selling here locally. So it's really quite easy to use. And then you saw that page where it had a floor plan of a home. I was going to comment on how like thinking about somebody who might be interested in art, it's super fast and easy for somebody to get on. I'm only looking for art, so I'm going to go jump to this page, click art, and then see what's there. If there's nothing I like, I'm going to move on, or so they don't have to sort through, wander through, and it's very well organized and easy for the buyers for sure.
Well, buyers can save the search like art or coins or sterling, and then when we list it, they'll see it, or they can search for sterling and it'll pull up all the sterling that the Caring Transitions franchise owners have listed. So,
John, where is the CVC clothing sale going to be?
It's if they live in Woodridge. I hate to give out addresses until right before, but it'll be here in Terre Haute.
Okay, so when will it start?
Well, I'm hoping here in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. So I could call you and find out that
Oh
information.
yeah.
Okay,
Yep. Mhm.
no problem.
Yep, and I could get you on my mailing list,
Okay, good.
and you'll get more email from me than you ever wanted. So,
Well, what size was the one?
2X.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, darn it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else have? What about like machinery and lawnmowers and all that stuff that's in a garage? Is that stuff you can sell easily online, or do people want to be able to start it up and make sure it runs and that kind of thing?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff sells really well. Even when I can't get it started, I just tell them what's wrong with it, and the guys still buy it. So we have a really nice 0-turn mower for sale right now, if you know anybody that needs one.
A what?
A 0-turn mower, a really nice one. I guess it's okay to advertise, right, Kate?
I just don't have a yard that's very big. I can do. I can cut my yard with scissors.
Yeah.
A question then, kind of get a mental picture of the overall process. You mentioned move out of the house to wherever you're going, and then give you a call, and you come in and sort of take over, sell all this stuff. Just in case, hypothetical, there might be some stuff that nobody wants, gets left behind. Is that a service then that you all come in and take it to the dump, or is it back to the owner to find some other service to dispose of it?
Oh no, we take care of it. We dispose of it or donate it, or we donate a lot. So.
Okay. And then getting down to the tawdry subject, do you work on a commission basis where it's a percentage of the take, or is it a fixed fee, or it's all negotiable after you've looked over this terrible place and see how much you're confronted with?
We do 35% commission, and then I may have charges. If we have a lot of cleanup to do, I'll charge for that. If there's a lot of sorting and organizing things, then we'll have a charge for that too. And I always take that out of the sale proceeds, and everybody always knows the cost up front. I don't have any hidden fees or hidden charges that I pull out later after the sale. And if I do, I'll call the owner and talk to him about it before. Like if we open an attic door and the attic's just packed and we have to spend a day cleaning out an attic, that would be the only time I'd add an additional charge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask another question. I have a big oak desk. It's a computer desk, so it's not an ancient one, but it's a roll top.
Mhm.
Are they selling it all?
They do sell, especially super nice ones. The ones that don't sell or sell as well as like the press board or things like that.
No, this is solid wood. It's
Yeah.
heavy, very heavy.
It should sell pretty well. You just have to find the right people, because if it's really big furniture, sometimes people have a hard time finding a place for it.
That's why it's in the garage.
Yeah, it
Now.
could be a hard sell, but they still do sell.
Mhm. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I guess one more. Just what about books? I mean, not just special kind of books, but just books. Like I have a collection of cookbooks, probably more than 100. Would something like that sell as a unit?
People do like cookbooks, so we do try to sell cookbooks.
Yay!
we would sell it in a lot. We wouldn't sell them
Yes.
individually, but we'd put them
No.
together and sell them that way. And people actually do buy them. And I don't know if people been on quarantine, but books have been selling a little bit better. But the main reason I put books up for sale is to find them a new home. So
Yes.
They don't sell for a whole lot unless they were like the ones we were talking about earlier, the older ones and the first editions and things like that.
Well, the library isn't taking anything right now, and that's usually where these go. And I don't know when they're going to open up for sale, because like you, a book is really precious, and I
Right.
just don't want it to go into the trash.
Right. I've donated some to the Goodwill. The
Mhm.
Goodwill's open and accessible.
Mhm.
It's nice because when you drive up to the Goodwill, they come out and take it out for you. So
Yes.
not a whole lot of books, but I have took some books to them.
Love that service. You bring up a good point though, Eileen. There are some places that haven't accepted things. I imagine the library just eventually runs out of space to hold them since they can't have a sale.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like that going on right now? Of course, hopefully it's going to start to change and loosen back up, but are you having trouble getting other places to accept donations at all?
I don't donate to Goodwill that's my personal reasons, but the only other place would be Helping Hands, and they don't have that much space for books. And when I'm talking about cookbooks in particular, I've got quite a few.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know any place else that would accept them.
And is it true that the Restore there on Wabash really wants more like construction related items and home
Mhm.
items? Is that what they typically collect?
Yeah, I
Oh.
think so.
Okay. Good. Does anybody else have a fun off the wall collection they want to get rid of? They're curious about?
John, I've got another collection. I'm a collector, that's the problem. Of Czechoslovakian ceramics. Lusterware is called, but it's made in Czechoslovakia and it has a little stamp on the bottom. Do things like that sell?
Yes, that lusterware is popular.
Okay.
Are you talking about the little candles that have the crystals hanging off the sides and?
No, these are
Really?
a little more primitive, and I only do it because my grandmother was from Czechoslovakia, and so that's why I've done that.
The Czech glass is popular.
Yeah, but the crystal is really too. Yeah, but this is more pottery, but
Yeah,
it's
I have to
it's
research
glazed.
it.
Mhm.
There probably is somebody out there that would wants it though. I'll say that.
Mhm.
Listening to you talk about those type of items and having that connection with your grandmother and things too reminds me of one tip that I'll share with you that we got from a resident actually who lives in a villa. She was getting rid of some of those kind of collections that meant something to her or were passed down to her, but didn't have space, couldn't keep them and bring them with her. So one idea that I thought was brilliant, she took nice photographs of the collections and had them made into coasters. And so she has a nice, set of coasters on her side table with a picture of that doll collection and a picture of that, China pattern, so that she can look at that and be reminded of it, but not have to have the stuff, right?
Well, that is a neat idea.
Isn't it?
Mhm.
It is really, and it's another little talking piece.
Mhm.
Guest over and they see those coasters, you can, it brings up those discussions and talking point. I just loved it. That's just is in my, and yeah, something that I'll do someday. Not really a collector, but.
And then you'll have a collection of coasters,
Coasters, yes.
hundreds of coasters.
For every season.
Be careful, Kate. You never know when that bug might bite you and you might start sucking something.
That's why I stay off your website. Oh, no, this has been great. I appreciate you all asking, questions and sparking more conversation and yeah, be sure to check out CT Bids. Don't buy anything because you want to, well, let other people buy it. You're trying to downsize.
Are you saying CT like Cat and Tom or?
Yes.
Caring transitions. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yes. Yeah. Any parting comment, John, before we let everybody go for their day?
You put me on a spot. I can't think of anything. It was really nice talking to everybody, and I hope I get to meet everyone and work with them.
Yeah. And you can do a consultation kind of at any point in the process. Is that right? I mean, whether they've decided to move or or they have moved or what have you, you can do a consultation really at any time.
Yes, I like to get in there early, like we said earlier, but the better, so I can kind of tell them, oh, don't throw that old radio away. It's a good seller and things like that.
Okay. All right. Good. Very good.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.